Welcome back, heroes, to your weekly Florida AFL-CIO legislative updates. The 2018 legislative session is upon us, and a dastardly group of supervillains, hidden in plain sight, peppered throughout the ranks of the Florida legislature, are doing their worst to carry out the evil plans of their corporate overlords.
Holy, here we go again.
Fortunately, our brave band of heroes, the men and women of the Working Families Lobby Corps, are fighting back against their foul plans for total domination. The session began, as it always does, with a theatrical display by Supervillain-in-Chief, Florida's Governor Rick Scott. This year's State of the State address proved to be a giant campaign ad attempting to fool the good people of Florida. Completely ignoring recent reports showing that 36 counties in Florida have lost jobs and that nearly half of Florida's families are considered working poor, Governor Scott did what he did best: regurgitated the same glittering generalities over and over again to make us think they are true. Fortunately, a group of freedom fighters were there to squash the illusion, speak truth to power, and awake the state to his true evil intentions by highlighting bills working families are facing this legislative session.
Regardless of what the governor said in his State of the State address, for his last, thank goodness, last legislative session, actions speak louder than words. This governor and legislature have slashed the public education budget every year. We must engage the public not to be fooled by politicians' rhetoric. We must awake the state and vote for people in 2018 that care about the most precious and valuable resource of the state, our next generation, our students.
This is the year where people have to wake up, where we awake the state and the workers of this state take their homes back from the wealthy special interests that have dominated for so long and say enough is enough. Thank you very much.
One of the vilest pieces of the supervillain's plot is a tricky constitutional amendment that would make it impossible for future legislatures to raise revenue, close corporate tax loopholes, or get rid of unfair tax giveaways.
You'll all fly together.
Up the river, you birds of a filthy feather.
HB 7001 would lock Florida's essential public services near the bottom for generations, making it impossible to ever improve education, healthcare, or our infrastructure, just so the rich and big corporations can keep from paying their fair share in taxes.
Contrary to what everybody in this building says, and of course that changes based on the issue, Florida is not doing well right now. If you were to look at our revenue on a trend line and see how it works per capita, we are at the bottom. And you're choosing this time to say we're going to make it almost impossible to close exemptions and loopholes and raise taxes. Every one of you are here in these seats based on a majority vote. Public policy should also be decided the same way your representation was decided, a majority vote.
The bill passed the House Appropriations Committee, its only assigned committee stop, on a near party line vote, with only a single Democrat voting in favor of this terrible idea. It now heads to the House floor. Another part of the overall plan for corporate domination is a constant stream of laws where the legislature seizes power from our local governments on issues that make life better for working families. But this year, our valiant heroes have pledged to fight back for all of us.
When they make those decisions at these local levels, with that process that allows them to have complete buy-in, now the legislature is saying, we don't want you to do that anymore. Now, why is that happening? Because the Florida legislature has become a one-stop shop for corporate special interests. Why would they mess with the rabble of 67 different counties when they can come here and have decisions made that cover the entire state and does their bidding, not the bidding of the people of Florida?
Not only is this an affront to democracy as we know it, this is an affront to every single citizen who gets out every election cycle voting for their school board member, their city council member, their mayor, asking them to go and do their bidding. And so we're calling on all voices, all organizations, all individuals, especially those at the local level, to stand up, to reach out to their members of the legislature and to say that local still matters, that our local voices have to still matter in this process.
The bill that will turn all of our public servants into de facto immigration agents, mandating the enforcement of unconstitutional immigration detainer orders, is back this year. and the Florida House is moving to approve it at a breakneck speed before the good people of Florida know what's happening. The Lobby Corps joined activists from all over Florida to push back.
With so much going on in our state, it's a shame that this has become a priority. This bill puts all of us at risk and puts us in positions to enforce unconstitutional laws that legalize racial profiling, criminalize our communities, target the most vulnerable folks in our community, and completely erode trust between our communities and law enforcement. We are all here as a united front against HB 9. We are fighting for our communities and the people we love. And we're not going anywhere because we are Florida. Thank you for being here.
Florida's unions and our unionized workers stand with all of you on this important issue. Because at the end of the day, what this is, it is crap, bumper sticker politics that is victimizing families for the political benefit of a select few. It's disgusting, and it needs to be thrown out of the Florida House.
In an unprecedented move for the first week of session, showing that the forces of evil know that we are onto them, the Florida House went into full session to pass some of the most complicated, controversial, and damaging proposals this year. First up, the Anti-Immigration, Anti-Law Enforcement HB 9.
Welcome to Florida, Trump's police state. This is the Sunshine State where we don't care to actually address the income inequality and economic anxieties of our residents. We'd rather scapegoat those anxieties on immigrants. How can we say that this bill is adhering to the rule of law when the courts have said it violates the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the 14th Amendment? How can those things exist at the same time, let alone in the same sentence?
Can you claim to respect the rule of law while violating two different constitutions in over a half dozen ways? Of course you can. But you can serve up pounds of red meat for an increasingly contentious primary season.
This reprehensible bill passed the Florida House, and the fight now moves to the Senate. Last year's failed legislation that would allow injured workers and their families to continue to be victimized by unscrupulous insurance companies is back again. This bill denies injured workers the ability to choose their own doctor, provides paltry benefits for debilitating injuries, and takes away an injured worker's access to the courts when insurance companies unlawfully deny them benefits.
I simply can't support, quote, meaningful workers' compensation reform, unquote, that does not include a restoration of benefits to the injured worker when we've had significant rate reductions over the years. It's just simply not fair. It's not balanced, and it's not, quite frankly, what I was sent up to the Florida House to do. So on behalf of my constituents, I'm going to vote no on this bill, and I urge you to do the same.
The bill passed with 74 yeas and 30 nays, but has yet to pass in the Senate. In the whirlwind that was the first week of session, union heroes from across the state took action all week, advocating on the issues that directly affect Florida's working families.
Legislation that is currently being introduced behind us is going to impact somebody's life in some way. Maybe not today for you, but tomorrow for you. You need to come and participate in the Working Family Lobby Corps. Why? Because legislators need to know that we're here watching them, holding them accountable.
The voice that you can bring to Tallahassee from whatever's happening in your local community, where your local workers, our teachers, whomever, this is one of the best ways to get that voice heard.
From what I've seen so far, the most important reason to be up here is because in the legislative offices, the only thing more powerful than special interest groups and big corporations are constituents. And when constituents come up here and speak their mind, the legislators actually listen.
I think it's important that everyone should come up here at least once just to see how this works.
I'm just glad to come see the whole process and be here with fellow activists and the union.
Please come, have your voice heard, and be one of the ones that will make a difference here in Tallahassee and in the state of Florida.
That's your update for week 1, but we're just starting to spin into action here at the Capitol. Be sure to visit us on our website to sign up for important legislative alerts and learn about ways that you can take action on these important bills right from your own home. Till next week, solidarity.